Tell me, why did you start Fyruz Education Services? I just want to know.
FES, it's based on my master's thesis. There was a lot of problem. It was overwhelming. If you don't get your hands dirty, you're not going to learn. There was a bar. And after 6 o'clock, it got pretty dodgy. We started with 2 students, 2 teachers, and 3 lakhs taka only. I felt like a thief.
Yeah.
I felt like a thief, as if I was running away.
Let's start from there.
Right. So basically, I was doing my master's, right, in the UK. Master's in education. And I was doing my thesis. So whatever you see in FES, it's based on my master's thesis, right? And then I was thinking what I could do after that. I got an offer for PhD from University of Leicester.
Yeah.
But, I wanted to challenge myself and wanted to see what I could do, not be very comfortable in one kind of setting, right? Because I knew if I would do my PhD, I would stay back in England and I would have a teaching job.
Yeah.
But that was very safe. But then when I looked outward, I saw that there were many opportunities, especially in Bangladesh, and there was a huge market gap. And we have all these market gaps in Bangladesh, right? I saw huge potential, especially in the coaching center industry. And yes, there was a lot of problem, lot of chaos. We launched FES on the 5th May 2015.
How did it feel like transitioning from idea to an actual coaching center, building it out, deciding what you're going to teach, hiring the right staff? What were the obstacles and how did you come to it?
It was overwhelming.
Yeah.
And there was a lot of disadvantages that played against me. First of all, I never lived in this country, right?
Yeah.
So I didn't have any point of contact, any reference. I didn't know all these teachers that I know right now.
Yeah.
If I have any problem, I can call someone who's going to help me, okay? So that was a big issue. Of course, I was scared.
Was there anyone who guided you during this entire process?
No one. Everyone said I was going to fail.
Okay.
Okay.
I wanted to ask one more question. I think you come from a family of businessmen and everyone who were serial entrepreneurs. How did they perceive it? I'm pretty sure you are an entrepreneur as well, but family eyes, it might be something like, oh, okay, now he's going to be a teacher. What was that like?
It wasn't a good feeling. People around us do not see teachers as proper professionals. Our job is always looked down upon. I really don't know why, but it's one of the most thankless job.
Yeah.
It is also one of the most frustrating job because you have a lot to do compared to other professions. It did not feel nice, but my mom was with me. My wife was with me. I think that was enough. But other than that, everyone thought I was mad because, I studied in the UK. I had good degrees from good universities. Why am I spending my time here? Yeah. I got good offers from other schools. I got good offers from my family members, from my dad, that, okay, I can join their business or their family business. But
I think that's the traditional route most people would have taken.
Yeah, but this is FES, right? So I like to create my own environment, own ambience. If I was under them, I couldn't have done what I have done here.
I think your personality is being reflected here. I think it wouldn't have been reflected if you were at some other business.
Correct. Absolutely.
Moving forward, I wanted to ask, let's say, initially when you started with one subject? Or did you start with 3, 4 and you had other teachers with you?
So we started with 7, 8 subjects and that was a mistake.
Yeah.
So my advice to all the entrepreneurs will be do not start with a lot of products in the beginning because you might waste money.
Maybe have 1 or 2 and perfect it.
Correct. Just have 2, 3 or 1 or 2. 2 is fine. So if I had to go back, I would start probably 3, 4 subjects, start with the compulsory subjects, Bangla, English, Math, and have, business, eco-accounting, that's it. And then slowly introduce other subjects. So when you're starting off, do not start with everything because the investment will be high. You'll have a lot of, pressure and stress and headaches. But yes, that's how I started with a lot of subjects. And then I was like, what is this going on?
After that, what was the next 1 year like?
I think the first year was good, not bad. Because everything, when you start a business, you have a sudden peak in the beginning, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah.
Right? So I think that was the period, and we had some students from Scholastica. My best friend helped me out, and that's how you start business, right? Your friends come over, they refer.
Referral, word of mouth.
Word of mouth, and some students joined, and those were really good lads. I enjoyed them teaching, and the culture was very different here. I was also grappling with my everyday life because I used to live with my parents back then, and the commute was bad. 40 minutes to come and 40 minutes to go.
Where did you live?
Mirpur DHS. Okay. It's a beautiful area. I love the area. It's just the distance.
Yeah.
Okay. Because we entrepreneurs, we always think of productivity and efficiency.
Efficiency.
So I do not want to waste 1.5 hours every day. That was the issue.
You said you did it all by your own. So how did that feel like?
It felt good because again, all the credit goes to my boarding school experience. We had to do everything on our own, from making your own bed, sometimes washing your own clothes and undergarments, right? That's how life is, or folding your own clothes. So I was pretty much used to doing things on my own, even in the UK, doing your own groceries and, doing all adult stuff. So I wanted to do it by myself. If you don't get your hands dirty, you're not going to learn. But then, from second year, the challenges started.
What was second year like?
It wasn't good because the students that we had did not come back. Also, location was a factor because, when you start...
Where was your first location?
It's in Gulshan 1, Road 131.
Yeah, I think it's surrounded by a lot of fun areas.
Yeah, so the biggest problem is there was a bar. And after 6 o'clock, it got pretty dodgy. You could see a lot of bikes.
Yeah.
That was the biggest
Uncles
challenge.
Going up, coming out, corporate people,
And we always had female students at FES, right?
Parents never complained about
Parents started complaining in the second, third year. And that's when I realized that probably this is not the right location. Mehdi, this is one of the common challenges that every startup will have. You're not going to have the right location in the beginning because you can't afford. I remember I paid 50,000 in rent. 50,000 was still affordable at that point of time. And when I looked at good places that had foot traffic, their rent was a lot. 2 lakhs, 1.5 lakhs, 1 lakh. So we couldn't afford that. But you learn from it. You learn from it. That's how it goes. And because of location, teacher was the first challenge. We didn't have good teachers. The second problem was location.
Yeah.
And
so product and place both.
Yeah, product and place both. And I realized that very early on that, okay, we need to work on it. And then we started looking for good teachers, but it wasn't working. Teachers were changing again and again. And that's also not a good sign in an education institution.
Yeah.
You can't change teachers so many times. But I think we were working with, rookie teachers or new teachers. I'm not trying to disrespect them, but they were just not cut out for the job.
Gotcha.
And this is why we did not have the flow of students that, we wanted to have. So that's how 2017 was still okay. 18 and 19 was very bad.
So far, koi bochor hoyche Fyruz?
So next year it'll be 10 years.
10 years.
Yeah, I was very young when I started this company, so it's also very emotional.
So right now you're 35?
Yeah, I'm 35.
So you were 25 when
24, 25 when I just started. When I was planning, I was 24 when
Pretty
we
early,
launched. Yeah, according to Bangladeshi standards, I think it was very early on, given that, I did not take any assistance or any help from my family or relatives. It was just me in terms of finance. We started with 2 students, 2 teachers, and 3 lakhs taka only. And I just told you, right, it was very emotional.
In this 10 years that you've operated FES, actually, I want to hear about some notable times when your financial crunch tonic beshi chilo, and we timed at how did you feel?
I think, I mean, when you have financial problems, especially in a new company, in a startup, you feel very down. You feel very, very bad because, probably our revenue was not even, there were times when our revenue was 1 lakh, but then, our expenses were 1 lakh, 52 lakhs. So I was charging my credit cards, right? and I was maxing out my credit cards, and then the bank starts calling you every day in the morning. I went through that, in 2018. It was not a lot.
How did that feel like, taking the call from the bank and like you?
I felt like a thief.
Yeah.
I felt like a thief, as if I was running away. I told you how I was heartbroken because we were trying for a loan in 2022, 23, even in recent times, but banks were not supportive at all. And I didn't know why. And we tried a lot, and, our trading history is good, trading records are good. People now know us, everyone knows us, and
I think we credibility to build good time, and I think that's...
No, we have the credibility. In spite of the credibility, we were not given, enough respect. Again, there's a taboo in this industry, right? Oh, he's a teacher, or he's a teacher of a coaching center. And this is
How
why...
does that feel when someone's like, oh, you're a teacher, but it's not like, oh, you're a teacher. It's like, oh, you're a teacher. So how does that...
I have a thick skin. So I'm okay with anything when people say, but now people know what we are. We have established a benchmark, but I never felt bad.